I am Sankofa. I am someone's daughter, someone's sister, a product of West Dayton, a proud product of two illustrious historically black universities, an engineer, an executive director, a hope dealer. But most importantly, I am Sankofa. How many people have heard of Sankofa? Sankofa is an African metaphoric symbol which depicts a bird with an egg in its mouth flying forwards while looking backwards, which signifies taking the knowledge gained from the past in hopes of using it towards the progression of the future. It is imperative in African culture to understand your roots. Just like a tree, it takes strong roots to grow and bear fruit. What better way to acknowledge my roots than by completing my college career at institutions that were made specifically for me, by leaders whose shoulders I stand on today. Leaders and fellow alums such as W.B. Du Bois, Bayard Rustin, former Dayton Mayor Clay Dixon, and current Ohio State Representative Joyce Beatty. My freshman year at the Central State University, all freshmen were required to take a first-year seminar class to help them get acclimated to their newly found adult life. On the very first day of that class, the teacher asked a question that ultimately changed my life. She asked, "How has your village contributed to your life up until this moment?" How has my village contributed to my life up until this moment? What am I doing for the village? What is my village? So many questions were going through my mind. That question made me look back on my life, my 17-year-old life at the time, and made me try to think of the first time that I heard the concept of a village. I was 9 years old when I started my Rites of Passage leadership class, a leadership program designed to teach African-American middle school-age children about their heritage and culture. Because as we all know, sometimes it's not taught through formal education. But the instructors didn't just talk at us, they talked with us. Everyone learned from each other. Young, old, young people that look old people that act young. They taught us. We taught them. They empowered us. We empowered them. They taught us you never know how or when you'll leave an impact or how important your example could be for someone else. They told us no matter who you are, how old you are, or where you're from, you have something to contribute to the betterment of your community because you are a leader. I had no idea at the time, but I know now, besides my actual family, that was my village. That was my introduction to intentional intergenerational mentorship. Growing up, I was put in positions to be a leader, even though I never really wanted to be. And the people that forced it on me the most was my family. And I don't know if that's because I was the oldest out of all my cousins or simply because I was the oldest sibling in my household. But I was the only child for 9 very, very quiet, very lonely years. And then my baby sister, Demia, was born. And when she was born, I felt like it was my job, my duty, my obligation to make sure she was prepared for the world. The relationship that you have with your younger and older siblings is considered intergenerational mentorship, even if it isn't intentional. My mentoring relationship with my sister did not start off intentional, but the older I got, the more I understood the importance of sowing into her so she could see the importance and pay it forward. When I went off to college, when I dropped out, graduations, good times and even not so good times, I made sure my sister was by my side to learn the skills, get the ideas and experiences that are difficult to put in words, but only learn through tacit knowledge. Not only does my sister attend my alma mater, she went up to me, and she is currently the 94th Miss Wilberforce University. And when she ran for that position, her campaign title was Legacy. I asked her why. She said, honoring a legacy, creating a legacy, while intentionally leaving a legacy. The knowledge my sister acquired over the years from being by my side helped her understand the importance of intergenerational mentorship, and this work of ultimately curating this ideal world that we want to see. Take another look at the Sankofa bird. What's something you see now that you didn't necessarily pay attention to before? The egg. That egg represents me. And that moment of courage, knowing that I have the power to influence someone else's decisions, right or wrong, good or bad, I am Sankofa. It's been 20 years since my rites of passage leadership class, and everything that I've learned from then up until now has helped prepare me. It's helped prepare me for this moment, to be in a position to look back, take what I learned on my journey, be vulnerable to share it and not be ashamed, and efforts to possibly aid someone else on their journey. I know before today, a couple of you maybe never heard of the word Sankofa, but I do know a couple words that we have all heard before. We have all heard the word legacy, and we have all heard the word responsibility. It is our responsibility to lift as we climb. It is our responsibility to make sure that we are leaving a legacy that elevates those that follow in our footsteps. And for anyone who identifies as a leader, it is our responsibility to stand up, speak up, and speak out. If you see something that is not right, you must say something, you must do something. We prepare for the future today, right now. That's why I'm so passionate about empowerment and leadership development. I'm a firm believer in you can't be what you can't see, and that's why the Sankofa bird looking back is so important. We must see where we've been to know where we need to go. The late, great John Lewis said, people on every continent have stood in your shoes through decades and centuries before you. And that is why the truth does not change. And the answers worked out long ago can help us find the solutions to the troubles of our time. John Lewis was not only Sankofa while he was alive. John Lewis is Sankofa. Example, he wrote an essay to be published in the New York Times on the day of his funeral, encouraging us to continue to make good trouble. I don't know about anyone else, but I aspire to leave a legacy so great. Your legacy never dies. Your legacy never dies. It is the key to a better community. It is a key to the better city. It is a key ultimately to a better world. We must be intentional with the relationships that we have, for it determines the type of people who will continue our legacy once we leave this world, whether that's good or bad. When you take two Sankofa birds and you put them back to back, you create the duality of Sankofa, which is simply a heart that represents one's wings. Once the bird appears, it has the knowledge that it needs, and it is ready to take that wisdom into the future. My intent is the only thing that changes my Sankofa bird from looking backwards to flying ahead with a purpose. It is up to each one of you to take a look back. Figure out what will be the wind beneath your wings so that you too can leave a legacy so great it will be talked about for generations to come. Now, how many people understand Sankofa? We are the ones that we have been waiting for. We are all Sankofa.